What video do I have next? Check out this. I want to calm down for a second. Check out this video from a trans speaker at a Capitol building. Speaking of genocide, takes it a little too far.
But it is not out of fear or trepidation, but out of indignation and righteous anger. I've been graciously provided by this body a mere 2 minutes to plead the case for my humanity. This morning, I spent not an inconsequential amount of time pondering what to wear, how to do my makeup, what I should sound like, how I could best present myself to make my humanity clear and obvious to this committee.
Oh, it's clear.
Isn't that a shame? In reality, it should be obvious that I'm deserving of the same rights and privileges afforded everyone else.
You are.
By hiding your bigotry behind children like cowards, you will find yourself on the wrong side of history. By manipulating the words of an ancient text and shoehorning it into legislation aimed at an at-risk minority population, you liken yourselves to another group that gained popularity in Germany in the 1930s.
Oh, okay,
if you have ever wondered what you would have...
An at-risk minority group. We've gone over the numbers on this show before. The murder rate of transgender individuals is like a fourth of the actual murder rate. So you are actually, as a transgender in the United States, 4 times safer than me or you. Like that's the numbers they've provided, like the trans community.
So try to stay away from them so they don't get murdered.
Right. I mean, again, though, you compare it to the Holocaust. Why do they have to be so hyperbolic? Can't you just
Very
be like,
dramatic.
hey, I don't like how you guys are treating me. No, it's the Holocaust. You're the Nazis. What's the rule? When you bring Hitler into it, you've already admitted you're wrong. It's kind of the same situation here. It's not the Holocaust. Relax.
The common trend I see with the current administration is they push people in the direction they don't want people to go in. So back to the Russia and China thing.
Yeah.
The transgender thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had mentioned how when like they are like the hyper anti-trans nut jobs, right?
Yeah.
They actually are kind of empowering those people because
right.
now they can look look what's happening. You know what I mean?
Well, they do it because it's an excuse to grab control.
Yeah,
that's what they do because it's just like with the right-wing terrorists after January 6th. They want people to do that because now it's an excuse. We can come in and be the good guys. We'll save you.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing.
Which the Nazi Party did do.
Yeah,
the burning of the Reichstag in 1934, I think.
Yeah, I mean they set fire to it themselves.
Exactly. Exactly. But then they said, "Well, look what the communists are doing. Look how evil they are."
Yeah.
And I'm not, I don't like communism.
We all hate communism. Yeah,
I hate communism, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? These as an excuse. They set fire to it themselves. But it's really the same thing. And then with the Ukraine thing, you try to close out Russia, but all you're doing is creating another world where countries like Russia, China, North Korea, Iran can actually operate more freely because they have the backing of each other.
Yeah.
You're actually creating another community where it's almost like an underground. You're helping to fuel the underground. It's like kind of like where you kind of like when they made with Prohibition.
Right.
Help the mafia. You know what I mean?
It's just like with free speech too. When you limit free speech, you ban people from bringing their ideas out into the marketplace of ideas, right? From bringing their thoughts and opinions out. You push those people into an echo chamber where no one can combat what they have to say. And there's nothing. It's an echo chamber, and group polarization's a thing. It's a proven fact.
Yeah.
So they'll go to the most extreme point in their echo chamber, and that just allows them to fester even more. I mean, look at Kanye West. Perfect example is Kanye West. You had he got his bank accounts shut down. He got banned from all the social media and tech apps. And you had some people kind of starting to go, wait a second.
He had his bank account shut down?
Yeah. Chase Bank shut his accounts down.
Why?
For anti-Semitism.
Get out of my
You had some people go, hold on. So wait a second. Kanye says Jews control the bank and the media, and then he gets his bank account shut down and blacklisted from all over on the media. Maybe this guy's got a point. People didn't start seeing Kanye for the lunatic that he was, and he was clearly going through a psychotic episode. People didn't see Kanye for the crazy stuff he was saying until he went on Alex Jones, and they just let him air it all out. And people were like, oh, he's just nuts. If they would have just kept canceling him and pushing him underground and refusing to let him go on anyone's show, and everyone was afraid to touch him and put him on and give him an interview, we would have, by the way, Mr. West, the offer still stands. That's all I'm saying. But if people were still...
I want to be guest on that day.
Absolutely.
I want to sit next to Kanye, put him in this chair,
Absolutely.
and this is like a 5-hour long show.
Oh, absolutely. I'm down, though. Absolutely. But yeah, so I mean, if Kanye West, like...
There's people that are dying.
She hits us with the Kim Kardashian thing when we're talking about Kanye West. It's perfect. But no, so people didn't realize how crazy or some people, I should say, didn't realize how crazy the stuff Kanye West was saying until they just let him get it out into the marketplace of ideas. And then it was like, oh, he's nuts. If you would have kept canceling him and kept refusing to book him for interviews and kept trying to shut down what he was saying, that's when people go, wait, why does everyone want this guy to shut up? What is he saying that I need to hear? Because if the government, all the big tech companies, the media companies, and the whole financial sector says I shouldn't hear this, this is probably something I should hear. That's the average guy's mentality. Then he goes on, makes a fool out of himself, and everyone's like, okay, there's no credibility here. This is a crazy person. This is someone going through an episode. And I try not to be too hard on Kanye because it's clear he has some kind of issue.
Yeah.
And he was going through a breakdown during that whole thing. So I know it's fun to clown on him and whatever, but...
He was going through a really tough time. It was very obvious.
His wife left him. Yeah, I mean, there was all kinds of stuff.
And then like who she's dating is all over the internet. You know, I mean, there's all kinds of memes. It's got to be tough, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the last thing there I see is that he said, we want the same rights as you. Again, to the trans community, let me know in the comments, what rights do you not have that I do? What right? What can't you do? We've talked about this before. There's a difference between positive rights and negative rights. When you look back at the civil rights movements throughout history, the abolition of slavery, women's suffrage, gay marriage, all of those were for positive rights. Hey, we don't want to be owned by other people anymore. Hey, we want to vote just like men can. Hey, we want to get married just like straight people can. Those are positive rights. The only rights I see offered from the trans community are either, hey, we want to be able to indoctrinate your children and perform these invasive, irreversible operations on them at younger and younger ages, and we want you in prison if you don't honor our pronouns, and that's the end game. If you don't think you go into prison for using the wrong pronouns as the end game, I got beachfront property in Iowa to sell you, and it ain't Carter Lake, and you wouldn't want it if it was. That's all I'm saying. Like, that's radioactive swamp water in the Midwest. You're good, believe me. And that's what they say, is that this is objectively a percentage of the population, not hating on anyone, it's just a fact, that has worse mental health issues than any other demographic. It's a fact. They attempt suicide at 41%. I'm sorry, it's a fact.
What I don't like is that they always, it's always equated to black people.
Mm-hmm.
And the civil rights in the 50s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
it's nothing like that.
People say, well, Monty, they're going to come for you next.
No.
It's like, they're not.
No, they're not.
Okay, they had 40 years.
They had plenty of time to do that.
50 years to come for me, and they haven't.
No.
Okay?
Well, it's not like trans people it's not like we're saying, oh, this is cisgender only water fountain here. You know, it's not like there's nothing they can't do. No, you cannot go in with your dick out in the women's locker room. If that's transphobic, then I'm the biggest transphobe in the world. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you.
I don't want to sound insensitive to suicide.
Sure.
A lot of people struggle with that.
Absolutely.
It is a bad thing.
And we get crap for that on this show because I do make a couple suicide jokes here and there. It is what it is. Anyway, continue.
But people say, well, the only reason why the suicide rate is so high, only reason why the suicide rate's so high is because they're not accepted by society.
It's not true.
But that is the biggest load of crap on the planet.
There is no demographic of people that is more protected than trans people.
My grandparents are in their 90s.
Mm-hmm.
They're black, and they grew up in Virginia in the 30s and 40s. If that rule was true, they would have killed themselves.
Well, and I was actually going to get to that. I had this prepared. There's numbers to back this up. Trans people attempt suicide because that's the argument, right? Is that trans people only commit suicide because they're treated so poorly. It's not because they're mentally ill. It's because they're treated so poorly. Trans people attempt suicide at a higher rate than not only black people during, segregation and Jim Crow, but Jews in concentration camps. Are you really going to make the argument? Like, I'm sorry, trans people are objectively treated better than black people during segregation and Jews in concentration camps.
I
There's
mean-
no dispute. You cannot argue the contrary because it's wrong. Like, there's no argument otherwise.
The life expectancy of Auschwitz was 45 minutes, so that'd be tough to. I mean, unless they would let the train hit them while they were still stopping. You know what I mean? I don't know how they were gonna do that one. but no, all jokes aside,
Kanye West walks in. Well, actually,
But all jokes aside, yeah, that's always been my thing. Is you can't tell me that because there'd be no black people on the planet today.
exactly, with how poorly they were treated for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be like 4 black people and 2 would be rappers, and basketball would be a dead sport.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you could actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.